What is up, responsible day traders? Today is Sunday, February 5th, 2023. I'm Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. So I'm going to apologize. Last week, we didn't get a video out. It wasn't the plan, but I was in Tahiti and actually on Moorea at that time, and we decided to just kind of enjoy the vacation. And I did look at the market while I was there. I did a little bit of trading, which was nice and fun, but I didn't want to spend all my time indoors and working when I was legitimately giving myself a week off. Now, as you may be able to tell, I did get some sun. My skin was no match for that sun out there. And was I being responsible with sunscreen? It's questionable. I got burned and then I got responsible, which is what a lot of people do with their accounts, you know? So I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. And I got some second-degree burns, but it's healing nice. I got to swim with stingrays for like an hour. These guys were just in our little crew for an hour. It was amazing. So we decided to commemorate that and get some stingray tattoos. I mean, it was just awesome. And, you know, it's so great to be able to do this kind of work where I can take that time and go to these kind of places and choose if I want to work while I'm there or not. And, you know, that is really just the beautiful part of being involved in day trading and being able to be my own boss and make the decisions about where I'm going and when, and not have to ask for the time off. Just take it. Okay, guys, we are also going to have a special announcement coming up tomorrow. If you haven't met Angelina yet, she's going to be sitting right here with me, and we have a little bit of a surprise that we want to bring to our responsible day trading students and those who might be looking to become one as well. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow for sure. And we'll have it here posted on YouTube, and we'll post it on all the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram. And we even have a TikTok going right now. So, you know, if you guys want to like, subscribe on all those platforms, you can find out what we're doing and a little bit more information, maybe immediately if you come there. So we would love to have you as part of the announcement and see what our special surprise is. We are very, very excited about it. So it's coming up and we'll hear a little bit more about that tomorrow. Okay, so let's talk about this market. Guys and gals, we have a chance for this market to really start pushing up. Now, we're not quite there yet. We may see some resistance and it pulled back and it struggled to move up there, but we're going to keep our eye on it, and we're going to pay attention to what it gives us and just be prepared in either direction. So let's do our due diligence, and first let's look at the news, and then we're going to check out what the market has for us. All right, if we head over here to responsible day trading, and then we're going to just go over here and go to news, and we're going to go to market news. Now, when we go over here to market news, we don't have a lot this week. We have a little bit on February the 7th. So on Tuesday, these are after the market opens. So the market opens at 8:30 Central Time. So these are going to be around lunchtime. Wednesday, which is actually my birthday, we're going to have crude oil inventories an hour after the market opens. And Thursday is pre-market. So it's a pretty light week for news. You know, this may be something that we want to pay attention to if you trade around lunchtime, just being aware that we may see it do some wild things. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and check out the market. First thing we want to look at is our daily chart. So we do have our daily chart right here, and let's check out what it's got going on. All right, so we have been talking about this area right here of resistance that has been holding. And guess what we have seen? We were talking about the MACD still being strong here. They pulled back. They were still outside here. We did get one purple BB, but that purple BB was very indicative of the push to the upside. Why? Because it stayed outside of the Bollinger Bands. It didn't even get inside of the Bollinger Bands. And when we have that happening, we have these pullbacks into the EMAs and directly into this area that was acting as resistance. So it's a great area to see it bounce up as support. Now, once it moved up to this pretty strong area of resistance that we've seen, And guys, we drew this, like a year ago. We drew this back in here whenever we were seeing issues with it struggling getting through there at that time. And now we can see we pulled right back up to it. So what we have to see is, are we going to see the strength to continue and break through it to the upside? And then pull back into that and start seeing some movements back to the upside. Now, in order to do that, we'd really like to see strength in the MACDs. These MACDs on the way up haven't been exactly the ideal strength. Ideal strength looks more like something like this, where it just pushes straight up. But these staying outside of the Bollinger Bands and continuing to the upside is still strength. So it's just not the power that we see to break through it immediately. So what's happening here is it's pulled up, it's given us a sort of a reversal bar, hard close at the top, hard close at the bottom. We still see these blue BBs, so that's a pretty good sign that we could see it coming up still. What we may see, and what I'm anticipating seeing, is these EMAs pulling up just a little bit more as they're crossing over. This pulls back towards the area, maybe even all the way back towards this support line again, now that it's turned into support, to give it the strength and the oomph to push back up. I really like to see some sort of divergence before we really anticipate the move to really give us strength to the downside. Even right in here, we started to see a bit of divergence as this pushed up higher, and definitely right in here, we saw divergence as the price pushed way, way, way up there, and the MACDs just couldn't play along. They couldn't keep up, told us that we had a really good option for this push down. So I definitely want to at least see something like this happen or something like this happen to tell us we're going to get a push back down. Until then, we're still looking for those moves in the long run to continue to the upside. Maybe a little hard to believe. I know we can see the 233 where there was this big gap that happened. It looks like we're working on closing it. But we know that first opening overnight can be it can play with us a little bit, right? It can be a bit of a trickster. So let's go ahead and look at the 28,657, which is the chart we see right here. 28,657. Okay, wow. We had this nice big move up. Our EMAs were really, really strong to the upside. Now, when this pulled down to the larger EMA here, really anticipations were to see it try and push back up, especially since the MACDs are leading higher at this point of the EMA, right in here where the price came down and equaled that previous pivot, gave us a pretty good idea that it should pull up. Now, this first BB that we're seeing forming here, this purple BB, does look like it is trying to roll down, but remember, we had a big, big drop to the downside happen just now whenever the market opened up, right? So that will give us that movement in that direction. And it looks like, we've still got a couple thousand, 15,000 ticks left on this bar. It does look like it is trying to create a reversal bar. If it creates a reversal bar, we may see something more along the lines of what happened right in here. Boom, push him back up. So we're going to have to wait and see what's happening. I haven't even looked at the other charts yet, so I'm assuming most of them have shifted to the downside. We'll see that in just a moment. But this BB will need to start kind of rolling up just a little bit, although it's still got just a hint of divergence between these pivots and what happened right here. We can see it pulled down further, and this is really struggling to get down there. And that's actually a pretty good sign, kind of like what's happened right here, where it pulled back. The BBs just pushed down just a little bit more, but really, really struggled to keep up that pace with it. Even right in here is not a bad example where it initially pushed back up. Eventually, it didn't make it through. We could see we didn't cross that top Bollinger Band. So to really see this move back to the upside, to really have the oomph behind it to get this price to move back to the upside, we do want to see this BBs or these next few BBs roll over and cross that top Bollinger Band, possibly even pull back into it like they did here, and then push up to really see that. But I do see an opportunity for a W pivot through here to the upside. So let's see if we can get that to happen. If we get back above here, it's going to be pretty glorious, but we really, really, really want to see it get back above that blue line that we have on the daily tick chart. So, which is not far off from right in here. I believe it's 4,300 area. So in the bigger picture, we don't have far to run to get there. So let's go ahead and check out our other charts. Okay. Yep. Just as I thought, we have technically shifted our direction to the downside on both the 10946, the 1597, or all three, 10946, the 1597, and the 233. The 233 has not been able to shift back to the upside, even though it's back above the zero line. We need it to really break free from the EMA to shift back to the upside. So right now, the immediate is definitely to the downside. Now, we can come over here to the 10946, and man, these bars just look just evil and crazy. So let's just bring them down a little bit so it doesn't look so wild. What we see here is a big, big long bar that has the long flag there, and it's closing towards the upside of the bar. What's happened here is we didn't cross that bottom Bollinger Band. Even with that strength of that move to the downside, these BBs did not cross the bottom band. So the expectations for it to pull back up like it did here and just move back to the upside were absolutely there. Now, if we want to see this continue to the upside, what we're going to need to see is this BB really roll to the upside and push up so that we can see it move a little bit more. Now, these EMAs are weak. You can see when they're weak, they're easy to get back above and below and above and below. So they're currently considered weak to the downside. We just came off of a really, really strong move to the upside, and it's just been a little wishy-washy in that move to get it to go back down. So we definitely would need to see this BB cross the bottom Bollinger Band if we're going to really anticipate it to keep moving back down. We want to see it just really move back and pull back into it. And that's what we're looking for all the time. Move through, pull back with the price and the MACDs. We're looking for them to add up in that way. So when we come over to the 1597, obviously the direction is still down. We are below the EMAs. We're below the zero line, which is telling us more down. And what we see here is we have currently pulled back up into the area that we might see the push down. We got a double bar and the MACDs were weak. I don't know that I would have taken anything. I know that I would not have taken anything short from here because my expectations are almost always to pull further back towards the EMAs. And what I typically find if I take a trade too early, it's because I'm trying to make it happen from right here instead of waiting for the actual trade to happen. So what we see here is we have rolled to the downside. If these BBs break back down here, pull back in, and then we start to see these BBs roll over as well, and we see these BBs push back below, then we may see that movement to the downside. So we have to have both thought processes in our mind, right? What happens if this continues down? What happens if this moves up? What am I going to look for? Well, honestly, if I'm going to look for this to continue up, I'm probably going to wait for it to get back above these EMAs, and I want it back above there with some strength. See a pull back in that's going to tell me that it anticipates it to hold, not like these did. These didn't tell us anticipation to hold because they crossed that bottom Bollinger Band and they moved down. They told us that it was going to move down. So we need to see it cross that top Bollinger Band, get back up here and really say, hey, yeah, we've got the strength and momentum to move back up through the larger EMAs and continue this movement to the upside. I mean, all in all, I'm really excited about this. I know it feels silly to be excited about it, but it is something that I have been watching like crazy right in here. And the fact that we have finally really broken back above this area, we attempted it so hard right here, but we couldn't even get the close anywhere near that area that broke back above. Okay. Here we have officially pulled away from that. We have broke back into it. We've pulled away. We made a new higher pivot that has really separated from the EMAs. It's going to take some work. I mean, I can see it's going to take some work. Like it may pull back down right back into this area, or like I said, all the way back in here. but I see more and more indications and reasons to see this push up. I mean, like I've said many times, maybe it's the optimism in me. And maybe I like taking long trades. I know you can make more money quicker on short trades, but I just really love long trades. Long story short, I'm going to anticipate it to probably pull back down a little bit more before it goes up. But it is working hard, and I can see the reasons for this to try to get itself back up there and back on the positive side and working towards, getting back up into areas where we were a year ago. Will we see it? I don't know. As I said a million times, I'm not a fortune teller. But what I can do is read what it's telling me now. And what it's telling me now is that now we see some opportunity. One thing, though, to keep in mind, okay, one thing I do want to mention about this daily chart right here is that these EMAs are what we consider flat and weak. Flat and weak are easily broken. Okay, so even though these crossed here and we got back above, flat and weak was easy to break back through when we had enough momentum to the downside. You have a little bit more strength behind it whenever we see it pulling into EMAs that are wide and spread apart and have the momentum to go down or up, because right here, wide and spread apart, pull back into it, we expect it to push down. So when it does pull back, or if it does pull back into here, what I want to really pay attention to is what are my MACDs telling me about that area? Should it hold? Did we have a weak movement back into it? Or do we have a lot of strength pushing at it and we're just going to push right back on down and start making new lows again? So it's something that we always have to watch. It's something that we always have to be patient and wait for. But like I said, overall direction currently right on these charts is down. The immediate momentum is trying to push back to the upside. The overall momentum on the daily chart is up, but we see reasons for it to pull back. Okay. So we do see that short term really starting to push it back to the upside. With these EMAs open to the downside, the long term is down until we get back above them and start really showing us reasons to make new highs from what we saw last week. All right, my friends, that is going to wrap it up. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful week. I really do apologize again for not having the video out last week. I actually felt really guilty about it. So I had to deal with that a little bit and say, it's okay, Lindsay, if you take a little bit of time to yourself. If you have questions over anything, you can absolutely write in and I'll be happy to answer. If you have questions over the news or, the daily chart when we're coming up on Sundays and I see those messages come through, I will definitely give you any information and help I can along the way. So don't forget, tomorrow we're having a big announcement. I'm excited. Yeah, it's something that we have been talking about here at RDT since we started, and then the pandemic hit and things changed, and now we got some exciting news. So, all right, guys, I hope that everybody has the most amazing week. If you've got questions, just reach out to us. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.